Discovering Epicurus, a journey through fascinating facts. Epicurus, a pioneering philosopher of the 4th century BCE, introduced the world to Epicureanism, a philosophy centered on achieving happiness and minimizing pain. His revolutionary ideas emphasize that the ultimate goal of life is to attain a state of contentment and serenity, challenging the traditional Greek emphasis on virtue and duty. Born on the vibrant island of Samos, Greece, around 341 BCE, Epicurus was drawn to philosophy from an early age. His intellectual journey led him to Athens, the heart of philosophical thought, where he founded his school. This move marked the beginning of Epicureanism as a major philosophical force. At the core of his teachings was atomism, a concept suggesting that everything in the universe, including humans, is composed of tiny, indestructible particles. This idea was not only revolutionary in explaining the physical world but also laid the groundwork for understanding human nature from a scientific perspective. Epicurus diverged from his contemporaries by placing pleasure at the center of a good life. However, his notion of pleasure was misunderstood by many. He advocated for a life led by rational choices, seeking pleasures that lead to long-term happiness and avoiding those that result in pain. His philosophy extended beyond mere pleasure-seeking. Epicurus taught that happiness is achieved through the pursuit of moderate pleasures, the cultivation of wisdom, and leading a simple life. This holistic approach to well-being was revolutionary, suggesting that true happiness is within reach through mindful living. Epicurus placed immense value on friendship, considering it a crucial component of a happy life. He believed that genuine connections with others provide support, joy, and a sense of belonging. This emphasis on camaraderie and mutual care set the foundation for a community where individuals could thrive together in harmony. Living in a communal setting known as the Garden, Epicurus and his followers practiced their beliefs in unity. This environment fostered close bonds and shared experiences among its members. It was a physical manifestation of his philosophical teachings on friendship, serving as a haven of tranquility and intellectual discourse. Epicurus was also a pioneer in the realm of political philosophy, introducing the concept of the social contract. He posited that the mutual agreement among individuals to form societies was grounded in the pursuit of happiness and the avoidance of harm. This idea significantly contributed to the development of political thought, emphasizing the importance of collective welfare. As a materialist, Epicurus held that everything, including the soul, is made of atoms. He argued that the soul disintegrates after death, challenging the fear of the afterlife prevalent in society. His materialistic view underscored a life focused on the present, encouraging followers to cherish the here and now. Contrary to the divine intervention prevalent in religious teachings, Epicurus believed the gods were indifferent to human affairs. This perspective liberated his followers from the fear of divine retribution, allowing them to pursue a life of tranquility and happiness unfettered by supernatural concerns. Epicurus' stance on the gods was revolutionary, promoting a life guided by reason and personal contentment. Epicurus introduced groundbreaking concepts aimed at liberating individuals from the shackles of fear and anxiety. His teachings on the fear of death and the gods sought to provide a path to serenity. By asserting that the gods were indifferent to human affairs, he challenged the prevailing religious fears of his time, offering a perspective that emphasized personal tranquility over divine appeasement. His philosophy extended beyond mere theological critique. Epicurus was a pioneer in presenting a vision of life free from the dread of the afterlife. His famous dictum, "Death is nothing to us," encapsulated his belief that understanding the nature of death can free one from its fear, thereby contributing to a life of peace and contentment. Epicurus' emphasis on sober reasoning and disciplined living stood in stark contrast to the common misconceptions about his philosophy being synonymous with hedonism. He advocated for a lifestyle that prioritized moderate pleasures, wisdom, and simplicity, arguing that true happiness comes from within, rather than from external sources of pleasure. Despite the profound simplicity and liberating essence of his teachings, only a fragment of Epicurus' extensive body of work survives. His literary legacy, comprising over 300 works, is mostly lost to history, with only 3 letters and 2 collections of quotes offering a glimpse into his philosophical contributions. The enduring impact of Epicureanism was significant throughout the Hellenistic period and the Roman Empire, until the rise of Christianity began to overshadow pagan philosophies. Yet, the resurgence of his ideas during the Renaissance marked the beginning of a renewed appreciation for Epicurus' vision of a tranquil life, influencing modern thinkers and continuing to inspire those seeking happiness through simplicity and wisdom. Epicurus placed immense value on the principle of seeking tranquility and avoiding harm. This central tenet of Epicurean ethics suggests that the highest form of happiness stems from a state of peace, free from the disturbances of fear and pain. To Epicurus, such tranquility was not merely an ideal but a practical way of living that could be achieved through moderation and wisdom. In his letter to Monesius, Epicurus conveyed a profound message: death is nothing to us. This statement encapsulates his belief that death should not be feared. Since death signifies the absence of sensation, it is irrelevant to the living. By dismissing the fear of death, one could achieve a more serene and fulfilling life, unburdened by the anxiety that often accompanies the unknown. The pursuit of aponia, or the absence of pain, and ataraxia, the absence of turmoil, was presented as the ultimate goal for achieving supreme happiness. Epicurus argued that a life free from physical discomfort and mental distress was the pinnacle of human existence. This state could be realized through the pursuit of simple pleasures, the cultivation of friendships, and the practice of philosophical reflection. Epicurus was one of the earliest thinkers to wrestle with the problem of evil, questioning how suffering and injustice could exist in a world governed by gods. His inquiries led to the conclusion that the divine was indifferent to human plight, a perspective that encouraged followers to seek solace not in divine intervention but in personal responsibility and the natural order of the world. He distinguished between desires that are natural and necessary, such as food and shelter, and those that are natural but not necessary, like luxury and wealth. By prioritizing the fulfillment of essential needs over the pursuit of excess, Epicurus advocated for a life of moderation. This approach not only aimed to reduce physical suffering but also to minimize the emotional and psychological disturbances that often accompany unbridled desire. Epicurus' insights into happiness and suffering continue to echo through modern discussions on well-being and ethics. His philosophy suggests that true happiness is attainable through the understanding and management of desires. By distinguishing between necessary and unnecessary desires, Epicurus provides a framework for a fulfilling life, emphasizing that contentment comes from within. Despite his profound influence, Epicureanism faced criticism and misinterpretation from contemporaries and later scholars alike. Often misconstrued as a call to hedonism, his teachings were, in fact, about finding balance and avoiding excess. Epicurus advocated for a life of moderation, where pleasure is pursued wisely and without detriment to oneself or others. At the heart of Epicurean philosophy is the belief that the universe operates on natural laws, devoid of divine intervention. This materialist view challenged traditional religious and philosophical notions of the time, proposing that understanding these natural laws enables people to live in harmony with the world and achieve personal tranquility. Epicurus was a trailblazer in valuing the pursuit of knowledge as a path to a tranquil life. He posited that fear and superstition could be overcome through learning and rational thought. This emphasis on knowledge and inquiry not only paved the way for scientific thinking but also highlighted the intrinsic link between understanding the world and achieving inner peace. The fear of death, according to Epicurus, is mankind's greatest source of anxiety, a fear that can be conquered through philosophical reflection. By realizing that death is simply the end of sensation and therefore not something to be experienced or feared, individuals can focus on living a peaceful and happy life in the present. Epicureanism champions self-sufficiency and personal freedom, principles that resonate strongly in today's fast-paced world. Epicurus taught that true happiness comes from within, advocating for a life of independence from societal pressures. This idea of self-reliance encourages individuals to find contentment in their own company and decisions, fostering a sense of inner peace. The inclusive nature of the Epicurean community was revolutionary for its time, welcoming women and slaves into its fold. This radical inclusivity highlighted Epicurus' belief in the equality of all human beings in the pursuit of happiness. By breaking down social barriers, the Epicurean philosophy underscored the universality of its teachings, making it accessible to everyone. Epicurus' advice on living a happy life is astonishingly simple yet profound. He suggested limiting one's desires and focusing on cultivating deep, meaningful relationships. In a world where materialism often overshadows genuine connections, this counsel serves as a timely reminder of the true essence of happiness found in simplicity and the warmth of companionship. Contrary to the belief in a finite universe held by many of his contemporaries, Epicurus posited that the universe had no beginning or end. This infinite view of the cosmos invites a sense of wonder and exploration, encouraging followers to embrace the mysteries of the universe with open minds and hearts. The legacy of Epicurus has been significantly preserved through the works of the Roman poet Lucretius, who ardently advocated for Epicureanism. Lucretius' passionate writings not only immortalized Epicurean principles but also ensured their transmission through the ages. This has allowed Epicurus' philosophy to continue inspiring individuals in the search for happiness and tranquility. Epicurus' philosophy is often misunderstood as advocating for excessive indulgence, yet it genuinely promotes moderation and the appreciation of simple pleasures. This principle roots in the belief that true happiness is achieved not through lavish living but through contentment with the essential and meaningful aspects of life, emphasizing quality over quantity. His views on sensory experience as a basis for knowledge marked a significant shift towards empirical understanding. Epicurus posited that our senses are our direct link to the world, laying groundwork that would later influence scientific methods. This empirical approach championed observation and experience as the foundation of true knowledge. The rediscovery of Epicurean texts during the 15th century played a pivotal role in shaping modern philosophy and science. The revival of his work sparked new ways of thinking about happiness, ethics, and the natural world, contributing significantly to the Renaissance and encouraging a more human-centric view of the universe. Epicurus' teachings on happiness and the avoidance of pain share intriguing similarities with Buddhist philosophy. Both traditions emphasize inner peace, the importance of mental state over material possessions, and the idea that suffering originates from desires. This parallel highlights a universal quest for contentment across cultures and philosophies. The Epicurean paradox challenges the existence of an omnipotent and benevolent God in the face of evil. By questioning how such a God could allow suffering, Epicurus touched on a problem that has perplexed theologians and philosophers for centuries. This paradox remains a compelling argument in discussions about the nature of divinity and the problem of evil. Epicurus' philosophy places a strong emphasis on achieving inner peace and mental tranquility, a pursuit that bears striking similarities to the goals of Stoicism. However, the paths these philosophies prescribe diverge significantly. Where Stoicism advocates for a strict discipline over one's emotions and desires, Epicureanism suggests a more moderate approach, focusing on the pursuit of simple pleasures and the cultivation of friendships as the key to a tranquil life. The idea of focusing on personal happiness and the active avoidance of fear underpins much of Epicurean thought. Epicurus argued that understanding the nature of our fears, especially the fear of death, and seeking to mitigate them through rational thought and the enjoyment of life's simple pleasures, could lead to a profoundly satisfying existence. This pursuit of happiness is not just a personal goal but an ethical one, guiding individuals toward a life of peace and contentment. In his teachings, Epicurus emphasized the importance of understanding the world and our desires within it. By gaining knowledge and cultivating a discerning appreciation for the pleasures life offers, he believed we could achieve a state of fulfillment that is both sustainable and deeply rewarding. This understanding encourages a life not led by unbridled desire but by a thoughtful appreciation of what truly brings joy. Epicurus' philosophy has proven to be enduringly relevant, continuing to inspire individuals centuries after its conception. The emphasis on simplicity, knowledge, and the value of personal relationships resonates with many seeking fulfillment in the modern world. His teachings remind us that happiness is often found not in external accomplishments or material wealth, but in the quality of our daily lives and connections. Today, Epicurus' influence persists, encouraging a pursuit of happiness that is both thoughtful and grounded in the real joys of existence. His advocacy for a life of moderation, friendship, and intellectual curiosity offers a compelling counterpoint to contemporary obsessions with wealth and status. In a world often characterized by complexity and strife, the simplicity and tranquility at the heart of Epicurean philosophy offer a timeless path to contentment and well-being.